Welcome back to Beyond Black. Forbidden, never to be remembered. In the not-too-distant past, the wind off the western coast of Africa once carried more than salt and trade. It carried memory. Before ships cut through those waters with iron and intention, there were societies known as the Kingdom of Yahuda, recognized by cryptographers as Negro Land. Let that settle in your mind as you consider the history you've been taught. This kingdom was layered with language, belief, kinship, and law. Among them were kingdoms whose names have since been blurred, renamed, or forgotten in fragments of maps and oral traditions. Lives unfolded in rhythms tied to land, ancestry, and spiritual continuity, systems of meaning that stretched backward further than written record. Then came disruption. The transatlantic slave trade did not arrive as a single moment, but as a grinding mechanism. It involved coastal intermediaries, European demand, internal conflicts, opportunism, coercion, and violence. People were captured, sold, marched, and forced onto ships where identity began to fracture under unbearable conditions. What crossed the ocean was not just labor, it was humanity under siege. Arrival in the Americas marked another transformation. Across plantations and colonies, systems were deliberately constructed to strip continuity. Languages were suppressed or blended under pressure. Cultural practices were restricted or reshaped. Families were separated. Names were reassigned. Over generations, what had once been specific, ethnic, linguistic, regional, was compressed into broad categories imposed from the outside. Negro, colored, black, later African American. Each term reflected a moment in history, a shifting social framework, and an evolving struggle for identity and dignity. Yet behind these labels remained an unresolved question: what had been lost and what remained hidden beneath them? There are documents widely studied. Others debated that speak of methods used to maintain control over enslaved populations. Among them is a text attributed to a figure known as Willie Lynch, describing strategies of division and psychological conditioning. Regardless of the debate among historians about its authenticity, the ideas it contains echo real, documented practices, dividing communities, suppressing knowledge, distorting history, and weakening collective identity. The principles themselves were not fictional. Systems of enslavement across the Americas relied heavily on controlling not only bodies, but memory. Because memory resists, even under conditions designed to erase it. Memory has a way of resurfacing in fragments of song, in rhythm, in food, in spiritual expression, in resistance movements, and in the quiet persistence of questions passed down through generations. Across centuries, people of the African diaspora have searched for origins through genealogy, archaeology, linguistics, and DNA. Some have turned to religion, some to scholarships, others to oral traditions. Many paths, many interpretations, not all agree with one another. Among these interpretations lies a remnant, connecting descendants of enslaved Africans to ancient peoples described in biblical texts back to their Hebrew roots. This connection is deeply meaningful because it's a fulfillment of what Scripture foretold would occur in the latter days. It is often argued, why isn't there mention of the fact that Africans sold Africans into slavery? With an unbiased desire for truth, with honesty, history answers this question. Those that argue that Africans sold Africans are not being totally honest with the historical record. What's conveniently omitted is that there are two distinct nations involved: Hamites and Shemites, both sons of Noah, both of Africa, and known as so-called black people. The Hamites colluded with the enslavers and colonizers to capture and sell a particular people. They targeted the sons and daughters of the Kingdom of Yahuda, the cruelty of which echoes until this very day. So yes, Hamites and Shemites are both African, so-called black, yet two distinct nations of people. There's a difference. There's a distinction between the two. Just be honest. Concerning our history, unfortunately, there's rarely a clean narrative given intentionally. But the truth is there if sought after honestly. Truth offers evidence, documents, artifacts, testimonies, and the responsibility to examine history carefully. Yet, beyond debate, one reality stands. The descendants of those taken across the Atlantic inherited not only trauma, but resilience. From Haiti to Brazil, from the Caribbean to North America, amongst the scattered, a spirit of survival, a reconnection to truth has emerged that is not empty. And within that survival lives a persistent impulse to remember, to ask, to reclaim true identity as given by the one true Creator. So, now that you know, does the echo of slavery resonate in your ancestral past? Those of the diaspora, currently in the Christian religion, are you the least curious to know if any of this is true? This isn't a story. It is actually verifiable history, our history. It's worth the deep dive to investigate to see if this record is true. This truth doesn't divorce us from the work of Yahusha in our lives. It is a fulfillment of our true restoration in Him. The truth, no longer forbidden. Here's what the enslavers, and those that implemented a system of perpetual cruelty, social and economic injustice, could not stop. As hard as they've tried to prevent the reconnect, Scripture states that in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves. It's happening. Those of the diaspora with ears to hear, eyes to see, and a desire for truth are hearing this call. The silence that once surrounded our history is no longer absolute. The truth no longer forbidden. Did you know that creation waits in eager expectation for the children of Yahuwah to be revealed? Romans 8 verse 19. The whole creation groans and travails in pain together until now. You are the sons and daughters of Zion, the hidden ones, waiting to be revealed to all the earth. Yes, you, chosen of the Most High, the great eternal. The truth of our ancestry has been carried on the winds of history, and if one listens closely, it carries echoes of a single narrative that time and cruelty has been unable to erase, because our identity, our destiny, is inextricably woven in Yah's word and promises of the eternal Yahuwah, and His word will never fail, nor return to Him void. All praise to our eternal King. Bless Yahuwah, O our souls, and all that is within us, bless His set-apart name. What was once forbidden, never to be remembered, is now known, uncovered, exposed. You are the people of the book. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe. Check out our other thought-provoking videos and consider taking the Beyond Black challenge. See you next time on Beyond Black.